guys, happy Monday. I'm so excited to have you guys here with me tonight, and I want to share with you something that a lot of people are afraid to talk about, and that is fear that is holding them hostage, right? And I have a few tips for you on how to break free from that. This is something that has plagued me for a long time. Many of you know that I am a homeschooling mom with 5 kids, and I deal with Hashimoto's disease, which, if you're not familiar with it, makes it extremely difficult to lose weight. I have chronic back problems. My discs are, pretty much gone. And I just have, been thinking that, there's nothing I can do. I'm just stuck in this rut. I'm just stuck being overweight. I'm just stuck in debt. Hello, I'm a college dropout. Like, where am I going to get a job? How am I going to do that with 5 kids, right? Not to mention my husband has a rotating schedule since he's a firefighter, so it's not like I can just work on his days off because it's always changing, right? So I had this fear that, I'm just going to be overweight. I mean, after all, I had a doctor tell me, an endocrinologist tell me, sorry, Tony, you're really tired and exhausted because you have what's known as children. Like, that is her exact words. And there's nothing we can do for your thyroid. You have more nodules that are growing, but there's nothing we can do. And maybe if you want to try to lose weight, we can put you on a weight loss medication. Well, I don't know about you, but I am not a big believer in medications. Yes, they have their place, but I think too often they are over abused and they are just handed out like candy a lot of times, right? Like, for example, I had surgery on my leg for my varicose vein. It was like a year and a half ago. Yeah, it's almost 2 years ago now. It doesn't really matter how long ago. But anyways, the point is they just like gave me these high potency narcotics, like a whole bottle, when I only used like 1 or 2 of them. So it amazes me how they're just so readily, accepting to just pass out medication when maybe that's not the best route, right? Now, I'm not saying just to ditch your medication, by no means, no. I actually still take thyroid medication every day for my thyroid, but I'm not on any weight loss medication. I never have, and I never will be, because you know what? If you look at the fine print on those commercials, those ads, anything, there's so many crazy side effects, right? So I was letting fear hold me hostage in that situation where I was like, am I always going to be overweight? Am I always going to be this? When I started this journey a little over 2 years ago, I had just had baby number 5. And I was so afraid that I was going to be that mom that my kids were embarrassed of. That I was going to be that mom, that one in those family pictures where you, even in the summer when you're like sweating hot and it's super humid, you try to wear long sleeves and pants, and you push all the kids in front of you to cover your arms and your legs and your belly. You know that, mom? Maybe that's you. That was me for a long time. I did not want my picture taken. I did not want to be seen in public, really. I look back through pictures the other day, and before I started this journey, I didn't have hardly any pictures of the kids and I. Sad, isn't it? I had like that first picture when they were first born, and every year at birthdays, at my birthday, we try to do a picture of the kids with me, and then on Mother's Day. That's about all I had because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of the way I look. I was embarrassed of, what other people would think, because everything's put on social media now, right? And I didn't want people to criticize me. I didn't want people to be like, oh, look at her. She used to work out. She used to be fit in college. She used to do these things. And look at her now. She really ballooned up. All those things. I was so afraid. So afraid. I was so afraid of, where my health was going. With a borderline for diabetes, and my blood pressure was getting out of control. And I was afraid. I was afraid that my kids are going to grow up and they are not going to have a mom around, whether it be like diabetes or heart disease, which is rampant in my family, and cancer, which is everywhere in my family. Like, I was afraid that was going to happen to me, and I was like numb, and I was paralyzed with fear. I didn't know where to go. So that is where I was 2 years ago. Maybe that is you. Maybe you are that mom, or maybe you don't have kids yet, and maybe you're wanting kids, but you're afraid that because of your weight that's not going to happen. That actually was part of my story too. I had twins, which was crazy. We found out we were pregnant and we weren't married yet, and that caused a lot of issues in our families, and we didn't, talk to each other for about 7 years. I know. Then we had TJ 2 years after the twins were born, and then it was this span of 5 years. We were trying to have another baby. I went to the doctor, my periods were extremely crazy, and my doctor told me, well, you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I was like, well, what the heck does that mean? And she didn't really give me many answers. She said, we kind of just rule it out by other things. You don't have these, so this is it. And she's like, well, you could probably lose some weight and that might help. So I was like, okay, well, how do I do this? I'm already trying to eat healthy and I'm trying to work out, and things were just crazy because of my thyroid, right? So I was trapped in this fear of, am I going to be a good mom? Am I going to be able to have any more kids because of my weight? Is my husband going to continue to love me? Because when we first met, I was 140 pounds. And I had all these things go through your mind. Like, fear is so crippling, right? We can let those negative thoughts take control of us, and they can do a lot of damage. Not only for us on the inside, because as moms, well, we like to hold things in. We want to have this facade that we are strong moms, that we are the super mom. We have these superpowers. We can get it all done. We are like awesome, right? But inside, we are just crying and screaming because you know what? We are hurting. We are afraid. We just think that we're messing everything up, right? If that's you, let me know. Comment below. What are you most afraid of as being a mom or a future mom? Or what is that one thing? Or maybe it's more than one thing. For me, I have a whole list. We could go on for hours. But guess what? I have been able to break free of that fear that held me hostage. There's no crazy ransom that you have to pay, but there is something that you do have to do. And most people are not willing to do this. Like, this is the secret for breaking free of that weight cycle of gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight. It is that cycle of, where you feel like you are just inadequate. You don't have a purpose, that you just, you're always failing. That cycle of, I'm a bad mom, and all these thoughts, and you have this cycle of where you feel like I should be doing more for my family instead of staying home. That was me too. Thinking, how am I going to help provide for my family? How am I going to do that with not a college education? So I was in this crazy vicious cycle for a long time. And it wasn't until 2 years ago I decided, you know what? I'm going to do something. I was deathly afraid, honestly. That first day, actually I was like doing things in secret, trying to tell I was researching, how am I going to lose weight? How can I do that? All these things, because I knew that would be an answer to a lot of the issues that I was dealing with the blood pressure, with depression, with anxiety, with not loving myself, with being afraid to go outside, with, all these things that were such a heavy burden on my shoulders, was weighing me down. How was I going to overcome that? How was I going to make a change? So I found this workout. Many of you have heard of it before, I'm sure, or seen the infomercial, 21 Day Fix. Totally changed my life. Totally changed. I mean, I am not just saying that, to say that. I'm saying that because it did. It gave me life again. My children now have a different mother. My husband has a different wife, because I said yes to investing in myself and taking 30 minutes out of my crazy mom schedule with homeschooling and everything for me. Now, was it easy? Heck no. Like, it was probably the hardest thing I have ever done, besides giving birth to my 5 children, is to make that commitment, to stick with it, to keep going forward. Because you know what? There are so many days I want to throw in the towel. There's so many days I want to be like, forget it. Fear is going to overtake me. No. And you know how fear has stopped overtaking me and stopped me from stopping on this journey? Up here. Mindset. You wonder what the heck is that? No, I'm not talking about some crazy like chanting or anything like that. But what we think about ourselves, what we're filling our minds with, is so incredibly powerful. Part of being a coach is working on personal development. And I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what that meant. I had been, doing this for a while. I was like, what the heck is personal development? I don't like books. yeah, I'm a homeschool mom and we use them for education, but outside of that, I was like, no, I don't have time for that. I said, I don't have time to read. It's crazy busy. I don't, people are like, listen to an audiobook. I don't have time for that. I can't because the kids are crazy. And I always was using this fear to hold me back. Are you letting fear hold you back? Are you letting fear rob you from the best version of you? Are you letting fear rob your children from the mother that they need and they deserve? Are you letting it rob your husband from the wife that he so needs and desires? I was. Trust me, I know what it feels like. So, what is personal development? It really has changed my mind. Every single day I listen to this amazing podcast, and it talks about not letting fear, drag you down, that I have a purpose. You have a purpose. You were made for something greater than where you are right now, where you feel like you are stuck. And that really is the key to helping you to overcome that fear, to saying no to fear and walking the other way. It's scary to start something new. It is scary to say, you know what? Raise your hand and say, you know what? I need help. I need help in losing weight. I need help to stay committed. I need help to stay on this. Oops. It is hard to do that, right? And it is scary. But you don't have to do it alone. I am a coach, and that is what I do, is I help other moms, other women who are held hostage by fear, who are struggling to feel that they have a purpose, who are struggling to, have that excitement in their marriage again, who are struggling to, have connecting relationships with their children because you are so afraid that people are judging you, that you are so afraid that you're going to fail. Now, let me tell you, failure is part of the process of learning, right? How many times, if you're a parent, how many times did your little one stand up and walk and be successful that very first time? Probably none of us, right? It's a process, right? The same as when they learn to ride bike. Every little step in life, everything that we learn, every great thing that you want to accomplish, you're going to have failures. But I promise you this, if you keep pressing forward, if you keep saying, shut up fear, get behind me, my mind is renewed. I am focusing on what I can do, and I have this greatness that is just waiting to get out to help other people. I promise you, you will be successful. Whether it's in your weight loss, whether it's with rebuilding your relationships with your children or your marriage or, a business endeavor. Fear can, cause us to be so afraid to do anything. So this is getting longer than I expected tonight, so I'm going to end it here. But if you are saying, yes, Tony, you're talking to me, I have that fear and I don't know where to start. I don't know where to change. Reach out. Comment below. Say, that's me, or just send a hi, anything below, and I will contact you. Or send me a private message. My door is always open to you guys, because the reason that I do this, the reason that I show up every day with my workouts, sharing about my kids and our craziness that goes on here with 5 kids, is that I want you to know that if I can do it, you can do it. Right? So, I'm super excited for you to say no to fear, for you to be changing your life around, and let me know where it is that you need the most work in. Is it like your relationships, your finances, or your fitness and your health? I'm here for you. As always, if you like my video, if you found that there was any value in it for you tonight, please comment below. Let me know where I've inspired you most on your life's journey. So invite your friends to follow on my page if you feel that they would benefit from this video as well. So have a wonderful Monday evening, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.